Hello everyone. Welcome to the Female Shaman Stories for Sleep. I'm your host, Sheila Hernandez. Thank you so much for coming and for listening. And we're marking the pouring of 1,000 downloads, so thank you so much for that and for listening and for your time and showing up with me here. There is some really interesting things happening with the stars, with our solar system, and astrology is one of the things that I use when I see clients, and I'm, I'm like a coach, but I call it. I'm really an intuitive guide because I work with my own intuition and shamanism also. And many of you, maybe now or in the future, will probably use different modalities to help the people that you're working with, or maybe help yourself. I think that what I've learned in my healing and teaching career is that the things that work the best on yourself work also the best on other people. And there are so many people in the world that there's going to be some resonance with some people. You're not going to get everyone, but you'll touch the people who you resonate with. And that's kind of a nice segue into what's going to be happening this week astrologically, because here we're now in the Scorpio Moon, and Scorpio is about intensity, getting to the bottom of things, transformation, like and the greatest transformation is life and death, which is definitely the forces that we work with in shamanism. And we're really in a process. We're in a time of transition where by Toltec calendar and also the Western astrological, it's not really a calendar, but the way that we look at the solar system in Western astrology. We're in a period of transitioning, coming into the age of Aquarius. And that's also why so many things that are part of the occult or mysticism, intuition, often we talk about it as cultivating your intuition. All of those things that are sort of what we would call maybe part of the great mystery. Things that are perhaps more subtle than our five senses. So in the last few episodes, I talked a little bit about the lucid dreaming, and I really believe that not just because of my own life experience, but in trying to help to teach people to lucid dream, people who are able to imagine, who have the capability of imagination, and people who don't fall asleep right away, like go from consciousness to subconsciousness like that, which is most people who struggle with sleeplessness aren't like that. Like it's a process for us to fall asleep, and the process is very important, and it can even become like a ceremony. And for me, sorry, that was my chair. And the research that I've done, helping people with sleep, it is very ceremonial. You do the same things every night. You try. It's a trick for falling asleep. You know, you turn off the lights a couple of hours before you go to sleep. You light candles. You turn off your screens, or at least try to, and you relax. You know, you get into your pajamas, you get your tea. You know, you stop. Maybe like I stop taking phone calls at 10 p.m. You know, I try not to be on the phone after 10 p.m. Because the phone, you know, the phone keeps you awake. Like, there's a lot happening in the phone. From your friends to social media, which is sort of like, you know, soft relationship with friends, you know, the larger community out there through our social media, and then work stuff with your email. You know, there's a lot in the phone to keep you awake, to keep you preoccupied. So it's good to have boundaries around that. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the astrology. And if you are trying to go to sleep, please get yourself comfortable. You know, lay down in a position where you feel completely supported by your bed. You might want to lay in the cool side of your bed. If you've been in your bed doing something, you might want to lay down on the other side to fall asleep, because the coolness is very important. So, and you can just relax. And this week, astrologically, is important for lucid dreamers. And I think some of you might be lucid dreamers, or at least interested. And why it's important or interesting is there's a yod, which is considered like a finger of God in astrology. Basically looks like a big triangle, like an isosceles triangle, a long triangle, between Neptune, who is the ruler of dreams, and Pluto. And Pluto is sort of the structure, because Pluto is the most outlying planet. And Neptune is the ruler of dreams, because it also goes very far out into space, and its relationship, I think, to the sea is how Neptune became the ruler of dreams. And of course, our dreams are most easily related with the moon, and the moon has a strong connection to the sea. Obviously, the moon pulls and pushes the sea through the tides. And in the Toltec lucid dreaming tradition, the moon, we kind of have to overcome the moon. We have to acknowledge the moon and not ignore the moon, because she doesn't like that, apparently. We have to work with the moon, acknowledge the moon, but not get stuck in the moon. And the moon is emotion. So having, if you remember your dreams, they often are emotional. And, like there might be someone, you might have a dream, say you're in a big theater or an auditorium. I have these dreams all the time. And maybe there's someone from your past there, someone that you feel guilty about. You have some guilt there. So that's an example of there's some emotion. Or maybe you're trying to save someone in the dream. Or maybe there are celebrities who appear in your dreams, and maybe you want to be like them, or you feel left out, or you don't feel, you're comparing yourself to them, you're not as good as them, something, or maybe you want to have sex with someone, or someone's having sex in your dream, or maybe you see a loved one, like your grandmother or your grandfather or a parent. So all of these things are in what's called the land of the dead, in Mictlan. In Mexico, that's what we say. And it is the first place where we go, and also the place where we get stuck in dreaming. So when you're dreaming, you can go to multiple dimensions and you can have all kinds of experiences. But if you're not trained as a lucid dreamer or train yourself, you get stuck in the land of the dead. Like, you never go beyond this land, which is most people's experience. And so what's really great about dealing with your sleep is that, like, if you don't go straight into unconscious sleep, you can start to practice to lucid dream and to astral project as you're falling asleep. So, as you're in semi-conscious states. And so what's happening this week with the planets is that Pluto, which is, the ruler of Pluto is Idoneus, the Greek god of death, Hades. Pluto is considered Hades, the land of the dead, or death, which really means transformation. And Neptune, the ruler of dreams, and also the most spiritual planet, ruled by the number 7, are all pointing to the sun. So I think that it's really a significant time you have the power of Pluto, who's really the structure of our sort of human interactions, and the planets sort of represent different personality traits that we all have, different aspects of our personality, and the sun is the heart, and so I think it's a wonderful week to try to lucid dream if you can, or if you are already lucid dreaming, when you become lucid in a dream, try to go up, try to begin to fly, like really just will yourself up and out of the scene, the scenario where you are. Usually, we have some, particularly if you're a light sleeper, excuse me, you might wake up. Something happens in your dream and you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to go to the bathroom or you want to drink water. Go ahead and do that, and then try to come back into the dream and then exit the dream. And the next place that you can go anywhere. You can go into a red dream for healing. You could go into a blue dream, which is considered prophecy. You could go into a white dream. The colors, I think it's easier to begin with the colors, or you can go to the place beyond Mictlan, beyond the land of the dead, which it's like a place in your subconscious that has no past, and that's where we plant seeds for the future. So we plant seeds of dreams that we have for the future. And this is all from the Toltec tradition of central Mexico. And so if you say that you want to dream and create abundance in your life, then you plant seeds in the shape of a crocodile, or a turtle, because these ancient reptiles are associated with the land and with the earth, and the earth equates abundance. If you need healing, then you plant seeds of a snake, and then a plant will appear and grow out of this soil that has no past, in the shape of a snake. So a plant in the shape of a snake. If you need the magic of transformation, and maybe using the power of your sexual energy, or you need more magic in your life. Maybe your life has become dull for whatever reason. Then you can plant with a coyote, who is the magical being and the trickster. You can also, if you're a writer, you could plant with the seeds of a spider, and growing the spider, because the spider is the grandmother who weaves the web that we are all in. You know, the spider is the architect, the grand architect. If you need emotional healing, or if you're looking for love and you want to heal your emotions and your relationships, then you plant seeds of a hummingbird, and you watch the blue or gold or red hummingbird grow out of the soil. And so you can use all of these things, or any, you know, if you're looking for balance, you can plant a penguin or a zebra, something that has black and white. You know, when you have someone appears in your dreams and they're in black and white, that means, you know, your subconscious is reminding you of balance, that you have balance and to attain balance. So they're wonderful archetypes to work with, that are easy to work with. If you're brave, if you need courage, you can plant a seed of the deer. And the deer represents courage. And if you wanted to, you know, like, if you want to lucid dream, and we also call lucid dreaming consciously dying. So working with your energy body and moving it up and out through your heart. And then you become like a magical creature that I mentioned before in other episodes, like a griffin. You know, like the head of a lion, the wings of an eagle, the claws of, you know, or the skin of a snake, the claws of an owl. You can plant one of the first animal that I dream planted with was an owl. And because of a native run that I went on, and I had a whole relationship to the owls, to owl feathers, and I ran with them. And the owl will show you the owl moves its head 360 degrees. So the owl will show you your inner world. It will show you your unconsciousness, or the caves. We call them caves of your subconscious. And it was pretty scary, to tell you the truth, but also really enlightening, because there are people in your caves. Some are perhaps ancestors, and you know, perhaps some are entities from other dimensions, but that is speculation on my part. Certainly ancestors is what the tradition calls them. My experience was a being who I don't think was an ancestor, but was in my cave nonetheless. And I I was shocked. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful time because of this yod, which means a finger of God, to begin a lucid dreaming practice. And so I'm going to put away my astrological chart, and in your work with people or work with yourself, it's a great idea to look up your chart, your own natal chart, and figure out. Most of my lucid dreaming clients have something going on with Neptune, and I do as well. I have a bunch of trines with Neptune, and that is just the dreamer. So if you like, I'm going to come back to reading from Carlos Castaneda. And if you want me to go back to my own book, I can. I'm just feeling like reading you all to sleep from this book, The Wheel of Time. But I will go back to my own book, and I have another article I'm working on. But I think that my book is a little bit more sleepy because it's so dense, as opposed to the articles are really more coaching articles. And these Carlos Castaneda quotes from A Wheel of Time are very, they're easily digestible, and you can kind of think about one and let it resonate in your mind as you're trying to fall asleep until we move on to the next one. And thank you again for coming. And so if you are trying to fall asleep, go ahead and get comfortable. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, connecting yourself to the earth. We'll do a couple of breaths together. And this week has a lot of weird energy, quincunxes they're called in astrology, which is irritations. There's a lot of little irritations this week. So if you're feeling irritated or out of sorts, or people are emotionally stepping on your boundaries, connect to the earth. One of the most wonderful aspects of the shamanic practice is connecting to the earth regularly. And they say, and I think that this is true, that it's more powerful if you do it every day. You could do it every other day. You could do it once a week with me. But establishing that connection with the earth. So let's just have a praxis moment. Let's just do it together. So inhaling the transformative light of the sun and the moon and all of the stars in our galaxy and in our universe, and then exhale, letting go of any negative emotions or creations deep into the earth, and really allowing your body to sink deeply into the earth. Good. And then inhale again, the transformative light of the stars, allowing it to transform you on a cellular level and working with your subconscious on a cellular level. And then exhale deep into the earth, feeling that support and stability and strength of the earth. And then inhale again, pulling in the transformative light of our own sun, just as if you were a plant or any other living being on the planet. And then exhale deep into the earth, allowing your energetic roots to travel down deep into the earth, deep through the crust, down into the soil, down to the lava, down into the earth's core, grounding you into the earth's core. Inhale again, really feeling that support of the earth. Exhaling, creating an exchange with the earth. Sending love to yourself and to your blood, to your ancestors. Inhale again, the transformative light of the sun. Building that connection between the cosmos and the earth. Exhale again, falling deeper and deeper into the earth. Deeper and deeper into the earth consciousness, deeper and deeper into earth perception. which is also an intuitive perception. And so this week, and you're dreaming and you're sleeping, really trying to cultivate the other parts of yourself that perceive, and how you perceive while you're dreaming, and how you perceive when you're just quiet, and maybe people are talking around you, maybe you're by yourself, but you have an inner quiet, that quietness. How are you perceiving in that silence? And playing with that, paying attention, being curious about your perception in silence. And that, in a nutshell, is how you cultivate intuition. So, relaxing, falling deeper and deeper into your pillow, into your bed, feeling completely supported by the earth, completely secure in your place, feeling your heart connected to the earth in fundamental and profound ways that you and I have no idea the way that we are connected to the earth. Because our skills of perception are minimal. And so, but just having faith to know that you have this deep connection to the planet, and and also to the stars and to the cosmos, and it's in your heart, and it's based out of love. And so feeling you that love, both you giving your love to the planet, to humanity, to the sun, to our galaxy, to the entire Milky Way, and then to the cosmos and universe at large, and then feeling that love back. Really feeling that love back. Pull it into your heart center. Know that it's there for you. I think when we have trouble sleeping, we get stuck in our mind. So taking the energy into your heart, out of your mind and into your heart, and feeling that love, unconditional love from the planet, who gives us food and clothing and paper, money, and water to drink, and houses, to the love of the sun, who gives us light every day, the love of the moon that controls the tides and gives us light at nighttime, so we're not in total darkness, and we have stability on the planet because of the sun and the moon and their relationship. And then, of course, the entire solar system and the entire cosmos, and that we're in this little suburb of the galaxy, protected from all the machinations of the center of the Milky Way, and all the light that is in the center of the Milky Way. If we were in the center, we wouldn't have nighttime. There are so many stars in the center of the Milky Way that it would be daytime all the time because of all the stars. It's interesting to think about. So maybe that can be one of the dimensions that you go to in your dreaming tonight. I hope you do try. And if you go, please send a comment. Or any comments. I love to hear feedback of what you like, maybe what you want to hear more of from me. So, or what is helpful. So, here we are in The Wheel of Time by Carlos Castaneda, and he was my first shamanic teacher, and so it's from his teacher Don Juan from central Mexico. says, the world is all that is encased here, : life, death, people, and everything else that surrounds us. The world is incomprehensible. We won't ever understand it. We won't ever unravel its secrets. Thus, we must treat the world as it is, a sheer mystery. Page 63. The things that people do cannot, under any conditions, be more important than the world. And thus a warrior treats the world as an endless mystery, and what people do as endless folly. And remember, folly is like a joke, you know. People are a joke, which is, I think, healthy. And then this next portion of the book is from the book Journey to Eastland, pronounced Ixtlan, Eastland. Page 75. We hardly ever realize that we can cut anything out of our lives, anytime, in the blink of an eye. Page 76. One shouldn't worry about taking pictures or making tape recordings. Those are superfluities of sedate lives. One should worry about the spirit, which is always receding. Page 77. A warrior doesn't need personal history. One day he finds it is no longer necessary for him, and he drops it. Page 78. Personal history must be constantly renewed by telling parents, relatives, and friends everything one does. On the other hand, for the warrior who has no personal history, no explanations are needed. Nobody is angry or disillusioned with his acts. And above all, no one pins him down with their thoughts and their expectations. Warrior sounds like a lonely life, doesn't it? Page 79. When nothing is for sure, we remain alert, perennially on our toes. It is more exciting not to know which bush the rabbit is hiding behind than to behave as though we knew everything. Page 80. As long as a man or woman feels that she is the most important thing in the world, she cannot really appreciate the world around her. She is like a horse with blinders. All she sees is herself, apart from everything else. Page 81. Death is our eternal companion. It is always to our left, an arm's length behind us. Death is the only wise advisor that a warrior has. Whenever she feels that everything is going wrong and she's about to be annihilated, she can turn to her death and ask if that is so. Her death will tell her that she is wrong, that nothing really matters outside its touch. Her death will tell her, I haven't touched you yet. Page 82. Whenever a warrior decides to do something, she must go all the way. But she must take responsibility for what she does. No matter what she does, she must know first why she is doing it, and then she must proceed with her actions without having doubts or remorse about them. Page 83. In a world where death is the hunter, there is no time for regrets or doubts. There is only time for decisions. It doesn't matter what the decisions are. Nothing could be more or less serious than anything else. In a world where death is the hunter, there is no small or big decisions. There are only decisions that a warrior makes in the face of his inevitable death. I like to read that part when I break up with people. It's not an easy decision. A warrior must learn to be available and unavailable at the precise turn of the road. It is useless for a warrior to be unwittingly available at all times, as it is useful for her to hide when everybody knows that she is hiding. For a warrior to be inaccessible means that she touches the world around her sparingly, and above all, she deliberately avoids exhausting herself and others. She doesn't use and squeeze people until they have shriveled to nothing, especially the people she loves. That is not to say that if you need help, you should reach out and talk to the people that love you. And I assure you, there are people who love you. Don't let your mind fool you into thinking otherwise. Mind likes to play tricks before we go to sleep, thinking all kinds of irrational things. Of course people love you. Once a man or woman worries, she clings to anything out of desperation. And once she clings, she is bound to get exhausted, or to exhaust whomever or whatever she is clinging to. A warrior hunter, on the other hand, knows she will lure game into her traps over and over again. So she doesn't worry. To worry is to become accessible, unwittingly accessible. Page 87. A warrior hunter deals intimately with her world, and yet she is inaccessible to that same world. She taps it lightly, stays for as long as she needs to, and then swiftly moves away, leaving hardly a mark. Page 88. To be a warrior hunter is not just to trap game. A warrior hunter does not catch game because she sets her traps or because she knows the routines of her prey, but because she herself has no routines. This is her advantage. She is not at all like the animals she is after, fixed by heavy routines and predictable quirks. She is free, fluid, unpredictable. For an average woman, the world is weird because if she's not bored with it, she's at odds with it. For a warrior, the world is weird because it is stupendous, awesome, mysterious, unfathomable. A warrior must assume responsibility for being here, in this marvelous world, in this marvelous time. Page 90. A warrior must learn to make every act count, since she is going to be here in this world for only a short while. In fact, too short for witnessing all the marvels of it. Page 91. Acts have power, especially when the warrior acting knows that those acts are her last battle. There is a strange consuming happiness in acting with the full knowledge that whatever she is doing may very well be her last act on earth. Page 92. A warrior must focus her attention on the link between herself and her death. Without remorse or sadness or worrying, she must focus her attention on the fact that she does not have time and let her acts flow accordingly. She must let each of her acts be her last battle on earth. Only under those conditions will her acts have their rightful power. Otherwise, they will be, for as long as she lives, the acts of a fool. Page 93. A warrior hunter knows that her death is waiting. And the very act she is performing now may well be her last battle on earth. She calls it a battle because it is a struggle. Most people move from act to act without any struggle or thought. A warrior hunter, on the contrary, assesses every act, and since she has an intimate knowledge of her death, she proceeds judiciously, as if every act were her last battle. Only a fool would fail to notice the advantage a warrior hunter has over her fellow human beings. A warrior hunter gives her last battle its due respect. It's only natural that her last act on earth should be the best of herself. It's pleasurable that way. It dulls the edge of her fright. Page 94. A warrior is an immaculate hunter who hunts power. She's not drunk or crazed, and she has neither the time nor the disposition to bluff or to lie to herself or to make a wrong move. The stakes are too high for that. The stakes are her trimmed, orderly life, which she has taken so long to tighten and perfect. She's not going to throw that away by making some stupid miscalculation, by mistaking something for something else, which is very easy to do, particularly in love. I think that when we love people, we project the things that we love, maybe about ourselves, maybe that we love in life, like the image of a beautiful flower or the smell of lavender, anything that we love, or music, we project that feeling and that energy onto the other person. And sometimes we can miscalculate, tap into the best of us. That's why there's so many love songs in the world. So if you are having that experience in love or have had that experience, you're not alone. It's one of our great, follies. We're all fools in love. And it's better to love and to feel the pain and to make mistakes than not to love at all. But it's important as we come into this path of shamanism and becoming a warrior, that we acknowledge our human side, and our humanity is to love, is to make miscalculations, is to make mistakes. It's how we grow. And nobody has it figured out. Nobody, you continue to grow at every stage of your life. You can ask older people, you can ask older successful people if they make mistakes, and everyone will tell you, yes, I still make mistakes. We never stop growing. We never stop making those mistakes. And it's part of our beauty. It's part of what makes us, we are so tirelessly resilient. we make mistakes and we just get back up and we try again and we live another day. And in that sense, we're all warriors, you know, and have that inner strength and courage. And it's important to remember that about yourself, particularly in the dark hours of the night. If you're having a dark night of the soul, you know, if you've had a spiritual awakening and you had all of this joy, all the feeling of divinity and connection, and then maybe you come back to your regular life and nothing else has changed. You know, they call that the dark night of the soul because it's disappointing, you know, to go from that feeling of bliss and divinity and connection and lack of worry, coming back into the density of our 3D existence. You know, density is like heaviness of the 3 dimensions. But the great thing is that we can choose to raise our vibration, to move, to become lighter, or to have a lighter attitude. And with our emotions, it doesn't mean that you don't feel your emotions. You feel them. You know, that's also how you remain human, and how you keep your sanity and keep your integrity and keep your power. You know, if you stop feeling your feelings, or maybe you don't express how you feel, maybe you say half-truths and you say, no, I'm fine. People ask you, how are you? You say, I'm fine. And really you're not fine. You lose a little bit of your power of course it has to be with someone who you trust and who's safe for you. But that having intimacy with people, being able to really, and intimacy with yourself, knowing how you yourself feel, is really important in order for you to feel your own power and self-esteem, and to feel your own value. And, you know, we're in a vortexy time. So I think that even though there are irritations, it's a great time to just be yourself and allow yourself to be yourself and allow that to come out, no matter how weird or intelligent or unintelligent or serious or funny that is. So just wanted to share that. Just wanted to be your little coach there for a minute. And I will continue to try to give as much as I can to you all, so that we can all grow and we can all get better. But there's a lot. So if you make comments, then I'll have better direction of things that you want to learn more about. You know, if it's neuro-linguistic programming coaching, or if it's astrology, or if it's the tarot. I can do collective tarot readings for you all. Or if it's having your spiritual awakenings, or if it's lucid dreaming, or past life regression, or in relationship to that, crossing time and our connection with the land and connecting to the earth, which I think is vital. I always try to put that in because I think that the earth saves us, you know, not just in terms of the material world of food and clothing and shelter and air and water, but also saves us emotionally. You know, there can be a million things. There's always a lot of things happening in the sky, and recently many things happening astrologically. Saturn and Uranus squaring these two big giants of our solar system, opposing each other, communicating. But regardless, we have the earth, that we step on, that we sleep on, that we live on, which supports us and keeps us grounded and anchored in the chaos. And we're in a time of change, so there's lots of chaos. But chaos isn't just negative and destructive. It's also magical and has enormous creative potential. So if you're, we are in a dreamy week with Neptune and Pluto and the Sun and this yad, this finger of God. So really try to dream, even if it's just a siesta, and dream with your creativity. So, that can be painting or writing in your journal or writing a poem or dancing, or practicing ceremony. Any expression of creativity will help you, because it will put you on the same vibration of the outer planets, of what's happening in our solar system, and also help you tap into, in a very positive way, in a way where you are the warrior, you are the shaman, imposing your will on creation, on reality, with your creativity. And that is, in essence, the healing of these practices, of this work, that we participate, and we're not just passive observers of reality, that we create in reality. And if you need some ideas or help, let me know, and I can give you writing prompts. There's all kinds of beautiful ways that we can create, even if it's just coloring, in a notebook and playing with the colors. It's all very healing for us. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe you were one of these people that ordered coloring books during the quarantine, during the lockdowns, or maybe you're in lockdown now and you are needing that emotional release. Yeah, color in your coloring book or color in a notebook. It's enormously cathartic to be a part of that creative force. So we're just at the end of our hour, so I'm going to end our podcast. And thank you so much again for tuning in and for listening. I appreciate all the comments and support, and share it with friends that you know. And if you want to know more from me, about me, and the things that the way that I work with people, you can see me at my website, which I think is in the podcast description, but it's just my name, SheilaHernandez.com. And so I wish you all beautiful dreams this week, beautiful lucid dreams, beautiful flights through your imagination, flying through blue sky, over mountaintops, over rivers, through the forest, being as light as air and supported by the green earth. I wish you all of that happiness and lucidity, and may your desires come true with this beautiful yad between Neptune, Pluto, and the Sun. Okay, Lasso Kamati, thank you so much. again, and I'll see you next week. Ometeo.